Ardas Vai, Amardas Guru, Amardas Guru, Ardas Vai. Ramdas Guru, Ramdas Guru, Ramdas Guru Sachi Sai. Ad Gurain Name, Jugad Gurain Name, Sat Gurain Name, Siddhi Guru Devain Name. Guru Pyare Satsang Ji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Well, it's a great honor and a great privilege in the presence of our Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj to be together as Sangit and to understand the greatness that's been given to us as we celebrate Baisakhi, and to understand the depth of the changes that are happening through this world and how we as Khalsa live to those changes. We have beautiful kirtan, beautiful shabads, the Ragi Jeta, talking about the Gyan, the knowledge and the wisdom and the truth that Guruji has brought to us, and understanding the depth of the sound vibration within us to have a merge with God. The essence of our teachings is that we have that internal understanding, that understanding within ourselves of how we can grow, to expand ourselves, to understand that this technology that Guruji has brought to us and given to us is a very, very, very special gift of this life. And I came to the feet of the Guru, I was a very young man of 24 years old. I didn't know too much, but what I did understand was that being in the presence of the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj was a very special, special opportunity of this lifetime. And whether we come to it as I came to it, or whether you were born to it and came to it that way, that there's a reason that we're here. There's a reason that we're in the presence of our Guru. There's a reason that we embody it within our own heart and mind and spirit and our soul and our Atma, to have a very deep experience of this life. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us an understanding of how to have a very deep experience of living. A deep experience of living. How to merge with the body and the mind, how to merge into the soul. How to feel and experience what it is to merge with God, Jod, that light within us and merging in the light of God. And how impactful that becomes within a human being. Guruji taught how a human being becomes human. It's simple. Very simple understanding. How a human becomes human. In the most precise way, the most exact way. The teachings embodied within Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj are there to guide that life, to guide the humanity within us. That is the strength of the Khalsa. Khalsa just doesn't mean, I know you can read in English and they say Khalsa means pure one, but what is pure one? How does that relate inside of you? I had to look inside of myself and say, okay, what does that mean to be Khalsa? Amrit is maybe 1981, 1982, a long time ago. And I had to look inside of myself and find inside of me, what does that mean that I should be Khalsa? Does it mean just that should become my name? Nay. To me, it meant that that was a life of giving, a life of service, a life of understanding, a life of devotion. A life of strength and courage, and a life of kindness and givingness. That was the midi pity. That was the double edge of that sword. To understand that within myself I had to become that and share that with others and be with Sangat. Because as Sangat we strengthen each other in the presence of our Guru. We strengthen ourselves. On that day, Guru Gobind Singh Ji created the Khalsa, brought all Sangat together. Some Sangat thought, what happened to the Guru? Has he gone crazy? What happened? But Guruji understood that this was a time to unite all those Sikhs and to give us Khalsa so that we would have forever an identity of how to live. That gave us that identity. We represent that identity. Guruji gave us those four pillars. There's four, that Pake has four sides, four pillars that hold it up. He gave us those four pillars of strength, Bana, Bani, Seva, and Simran. Gave us the Bana so that we would be known, not to be afraid to be who we are. It's a very responsible thing. If I wear this bana, I have a responsibility to wear bana. I have that responsibility within myself that I should represent who I am as a Khalsa. And to be known in this world, to be identified. Because I knew that day that I did Amritjak, I knew that that meant that was the seva. So bana was that which identified myself to others, but also gave me my identity within myself. Because there's a responsibility to wear this bana. I can't misbehave. Something he's wearing that bana, right? You have to be so perfect, right? So we say that bana is that which is outside of us, right? Is that outside? To hold that identity and not to be afraid of that identity. For what reason? Because this world, this Kali Yuga, this dark age of time, we see what's happening to human rights, we see what's happening in this world, and we have to stand against that. We have to stand for the rights of every human. Just as our Guru stood for that right, and now in 2023 we celebrate that Baisakhi of understanding that this is the time that we need strength as Sangat. And to be identified, and not to be afraid of that. So bana, we say, is that which is outside. What is bani? Bani is that which vibrates within us. We will listen to the Shabd today. Talked about the nod, the sound current, and the merging of the jyot to jyot, light into light. To merge with that light, Bani gives us that merge. Bani creates a mindset, a set of the mind, to go beyond a limited source of thinking. Bani opens the channels of the brain to experience a deeper, fuller, richer life, a deeper, fuller understanding of your own mind and mindset. To understand the strength of that mind. With strength of mind, who can break us? Don't we say what is Khalsa? Strong as steel, Hanji, can't be bent, steady as stone. Can't be broken. But mind can't be broken. Bani gives that mind that strength of that vibration within the self that we can never be broken, and to merge with that God. What is God? G-O-D. We spell God, don't we? G-O-D. That which generates, organizes, and delivers. It's complete. That's the God, to generate it, to organize it, and deliver it. Is that not who we are? Guru Nanak Dev Ji came at the time of the Kali Yuga. He came at the time of this darker age. And before Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they said, God lives outside of you, and somebody has to show you that God, take you to that God. You can't get there by yourself. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, nay. He said, that's not true. He said, God lives inside of us, and everyone can experience that essence of that God. And at the devotional feet of Guru, we become merged into that God, light into light. That jyot within each of us shines radiant. 10th Guru represents that radiant of self. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was a radiant being and gave us that channel of understanding and technology of understanding to become radiant beings. What is that word human? Human means human. 2 words, hu. Do we look at the sun? Sometimes you see that circle around, that brightness around the sun. That in English we call a hue. H-U-E is a hue. Man means that mind of ours, that being. So what is a human? A radiant being is in the word. Guruji teaches us to become radiant within ourselves. Glowing, shining. With the strength and the mind of courage that we never fail, we never fall. And as Satsangaji, I've traveled this world. We've visited so many Gurdwaras, every place with Sangat for so many years. And I had to ask myself that day that question. I said, why should one of us be in depression? Why should one of us have any addiction? And why should one of us say that we don't have prosperity? When Guruji gives us everything we need. Everything we need. Prabh Ke Simran, Hanji. Rid is Siddh no nid. Is written, is given. Prabhuke Simran Gyan Dhyan Tatabud. All that knowledge is given to us, is all there at our feet. And Sukhmani Saipad, Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, everything you need is in front. Everything we need. But we only see that little pebble of sand. We don't see the greatness. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji created calls it to be great. There's that word grateful. We know that word grateful has two words, great and full. To be great and to be full. Why should there be one thing lacking? As the Ragajeta was playing the kirtan, you could read. What did Guruji say? Nothing is missing. But problem is we don't believe that. We don't trust in it. That's the gap. You know, a gap is a distance. And instead of bringing that together, we pull that apart because mind is not stable. Bani gives the mind stability. And if we don't have a stable mind, then what happens? That mind just flows in and out. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj talked more about commanding the mind than anything. He said, don't be a slave to the mind, but command your mind. That's Khalsa. Individually, Khalsa is that one who commands the mind, not is a slave of that mind. What is that slave of that mind? We say, no, I'm not doing, and then we do it. Then we wonder why there's problem. Mind should not have that problem. Buddha says, how do we solve that problem of the mind? By coming to the feet of the Guru, letting it go to the Guru, and trusting that Hukum Lama, trusting the words of the Guru. Satsangaji, if we don't do that in these times, then as Sangat will lose our strength. And we'll lose our young people, we'll lose our children. And that's what inspired me these many years, 46, 47 years now at the feet of the Guru. Has inspired me because I know and I realized and understood that what Guruji taught to us was a science and a technology of the radiant being, of the mastery of the soul, of the mastery of a human being. And through that mastery of a human being, merged together in Sangat, because as Sangat we magnify that with each other. We grow that with each other. It starts with the individual. It starts with you individually. Then it's combined together in Sangat as we sit in the presence of our Guru. And we combine it as Sangat to do what? To lift us. Lift us out of depression. Lift us out of any kind of obstacle that we feel in our life. Many come to me, they say, Bhai Sabji, what's my path? What's my path? I say, your path is already written. Guruji says there's two paths. One path you came, and the next path is you go. And Guru says what you do in between that determines your life. So devote yourself at the feet of the Guru and live that life. Live that mastery of self, not be in doubt of what our tomorrow is. If we're in doubt of what our tomorrow is, what happens? We bring sorrow into that tomorrow. It's not a happy day. Question is, do we have the courage to live it? That's what always at Baisakhi in my mind comes. I say within myself, Guruji, do I have the courage to live at your feet? Do I have the courage to take at your feet? Do I have the courage to serve the Sangha? Is the courage within inside of me that I should ever not speak your words? Mind is what mind is. But we have to take care of ourselves. So we have one as Bana. We said Bana is that which is outside, and Bani is that which is inside. Guru says, look within yourself. So that Khalsa doesn't become a question, an answer. A question, Khalsa becomes the answer. Khalsa is the answer, not a question. When there's questions, there's no love. When there's love, there's no questions. When we love at the feet of the Guru, that love within us, then we have no questions. And Guru gives the path to find it. That's what I found in my journey at the feet of the Guru. I found that Guru gave that pathway to find those true answers within myself, so that I could understand how to do seva, how to serve the Sangat. So we have one we said was Bana, second we say is Bani, third we say is Seva. To have that strength to do seva. Seva means that selfless giving of one's own self, in any capacity anyway, to help others. One day I was shopping at a grocery store and I was carrying my bags from the store out. And an English person came to me and she said, "Are you a Khalsa?" I mean, somewhere somebody said a Khalsa that she could recognize. She said, "Are you a Khalsa?" I said, "Yes, I'm Khalsa. I think I'm, yeah, I look." And she said, "Well, I heard that Khalsa helps everyone." And she said, "I have a problem. Can you help me?" So I put down my bags. I reached into my pocket, was going to give my card. "You can call my office, make an appointment." She said, "No." She said, "You have to tell him now I have a problem." And she was right. I put down those bags. She told me this, that, what was happening. I said, "Don't worry, God will bless you. You'll be okay." And she said, "Thank you, Mr. Carlson." She walked off. But it reminded me of that duty that I had. That no matter when we're approached for that seva, we answer the call of that. And that's how Guru Gobind Singh Ji did on that Baisakhi. He said, "Who's willing to answer the call?" That day at Panj, Bihari, the 5 stood, but we didn't know, was he going to call 5? Was he going to call 10? Was he going to call 20? But that day Panj came, the 5 came. And they said, "We're willing to give our life. We're willing to give our head to the Guru." Because that's the majesty of life. And that's what we have to learn from. That's what gave me the strength to learn from those sacrifices that our Gurus made. Sometimes we look at life, okay, January 1st is a new year and December 31st is the end of that year. And we say, what happened in that year? And we're going to make that resolution. I look at it differently. I say, what happened from last Baisakhi to this Baisakhi? And what resolution do I need to make that I can serve better? So I look from Baisakhi to Baisakhi. How did it go? You know, did I do okay? Did I help where I could? You know. Because I want to try to understand how this world works, how we as Khalsa fit in this world, how our Guru gave us Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj to guide us in this world, to carry us through this world, to show us what was happening in the time of this age, and how we don't just survive this age, but become the leaders of this age. That's the Khalsa Raj. Did we forget? The Raj of Khalsa isn't what's going to happen tomorrow, is going to happen next week, as we will say 2 years from today. Nay, it's this moment of time that we're needed, that Guru's teachings are needed, that we have to become the vanguard. Vanguard means the leader of this world and share to this world at a great time of suffering in this world. And we see what's happening with human rights around the world in Punjab. We know what's happening at this moment. We know what's happening in the world. Do we have the strength and the courage to stand for the truth? We say Satanam, don't we? Ekonkar Satanam. Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Satanam, Vaheguru. What is Satanam? Satanam is the exact personality of the self within the living truth that is in the heart of every person. It is the personality of you within you. Satanam just doesn't mean that true name. It means that which is the vibration of the reality of you within your existence from beginning to end and beyond. Satanama Panchabad. 5 sounds. Sa means beginning. Ta means that life that we live. Na means that which ends that life. Ma means that rebirth. Means that mother, the door of birth. So Satanam is the entire cycle of the life within the self, and the Nam is the vibration of the merging of you within the Shabad. As Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, what created this world? Created this world with the Shabad, and the Shabad was the Nam. Namadhyaya. Meditate on the Nam. What is the Nam? The Nam is the exact frequency of the self within the self that gives the experience of merging into the Jyot, the light of the universe. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji taught that we're not just human beings that are just living in this form as a human. Human is just one shell. Guru says this is just the shell. This is the gift that was given to us to be in this life at this time. That was the gift to us. What do we do with the gift? Guruji teaches us how to understand that gift, how to live with that gift, but we don't see it as a gift. Do you understand? If we don't see this life as a gift and the gift that has been given to us, and take care of this gift, nurture this gift. How do we nurture it? 3 ways. Physically, by being in good shape, being fit, exercising, keeping this body functioning. You know, as a rule of thumb, don't eat anything that doesn't digest within 24 hours. That means no fish, no meat, no eggs, and never double cheese on pizza. That's the rule of the thumb. And eat sattvic, easily digestible food. That's why langar is a simple food. Mentally, we need the Nam, we need the vibration, we need Simran. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru sets the tone of the mind. And we need to feel that devotion of life. That devotion is a divine ocean. Devotion is a divine ocean. Divine ocean is huge, it's vast, it's unlimited. We don't know where it begins, where it ends, it's vast. It's exact. And we're part of that exactness. Satsangiji, I'm just talking a little today about the science of being human. And to understand yourself in a very human way. And give yourself that opportunity to experience what is the majesty of Khalsa. What is the majesty of creating a life? What is the majesty of how you live day to day and how we crown ourselves? Every day. Do we not wear this crown?
Yeah.
It's a very scientific crown that we wear. We tie the case up, we bring those strings up, we tie the top knot, we cover it with the cloth that takes out the harmful rays of the sun. We tie it exactly in a pressure on this head of ours that brings into balance every bone of the head, that gives you an exact understanding of how to radiate this life. And to be identified clearly, we crown ourselves that way. Is that not true? So the question is not just to talk about it, answer is that we have to live it. That's a living vibration that Guru puts into our hearts and souls. That's a living understanding. Guruji says there's 3 ways we can live in this life. One way is we can just fight each other, bark at each other, and that means living at each other. So one way Guruji says we could just live at each other, barking with each other, fighting with each other. Do we not do that sometimes? We just fight and fight. And that's living at each other. Second way Guruji says is you can live just as a human. So I'll go on with life, I'll get a job, I'll get some work, I'll have a house, I'll get 2 children, we'll get married, and we'll just live that way. And that means to live with each other. But Guruji says the highest way of life is when we live for each other. And that's what we learn to do. We learn how do we live for each other. That is to me what Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us on that day, was teaching us how we live for each other. Not just with each other, but for each other. That's the strength of Khalsa. And the strength of that is Nam Simran, is the vibration. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Vaheguru is the highest sound vibration that contains that sound current of Naad, which is the Shabad Guru. That's the technology. Technology is Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj has written as a Shabad. And Shabad Guru is the science of the technology of the sound. Through Gurumukhi that vibrates an exact frequency that shifts this mind within us from just, you could say, normal thinking to advanced thinking. To create an opening of the mind to experience your creativity, to experience your devotion, to experience knowledge. Guru says all knowledge exists. It already exists for us. It's there to be known. And through Gurbani, through the transformation, through Shabad Guru, we experience that. So Satsangaji, I'm sharing you a little bit today of my own personal experience of how Guru has raised me from a very young soul who came just innocently that day in the presence of our Sri Guru Granth Sahib, did the Matta take, and as soon as my forehead touched to the floor, my life changed. And I knew I had found something, or something had found me. And I wanted to understand, what is the strength of that? What is the power of that? What creates that power within us? What creates it? How is it moved within us? And how then do we take that out to share that and inspire humanity to grow and to change and to shift, to help each other through these difficult times, to give strength to Sangat so that we never fail in this life, to share Guru's teachings to the world. I came from the English side. I had to understand it from the English side. But I wanted to learn how to take these teachings and how to express it and explain it to many, many people outside of Sikhi to understand that the strength of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, the history of our Gurus and those martyrs who gave their lives, was something that the world needed to know and to understand. Because the teachings embedded within Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj can bring peace to this world. The unfortunate thing is we don't spread it to the world. We don't give it to the world. But that's also changing. Because if we look at the history of religion, and many religions that are known as the great religions of the world, which include Sikhism, if we look at Muslimism and Hinduism and Buddhism and Judaism and Christianity between 2,000 and 10,000 years. But let's look at Sikhi. Guru Nanak came just over 500 years and laid a foundation which is now known as one of the great faiths of the world. And in the history of humanity, there is no, you could say, scripture in this world that has the title of Guru, except Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. There's no other teaching that has that name, Guru. So Satsangji, let's be inspired. Be inspired with that. Inspire each other. Grow with each other. Create strength through each other. Share this knowledge to others. Hold it deep inside of yourself. That is the power of sadhana. That is the power of Panchbaniya. That is the power of rising in Amrit Vele. That's the strength of it. That sets ourselves. Sometimes they come to me, they say, why should I rise that time? Why should I rise so early? I said, number one, we want to give 10% of our day to the Guru. There's 24 hours in the day. And Guru says, give me that 10% of that 24 hours. That's 2.4 hours. Guru says, give me that 10%, 2.4 hours. Devote it to me. And I shall take care of the other 90% for you. That's my understanding of it. So we raise Amrit Vela, well, for what? Between that time, 4 a.m., 6 a.m. time, sun is rising, 60-degree angle up. We're doing Pat, we're doing Simran at those time. What happens? We rise. As the sun rises, we're rising with that sun. We're becoming elevated. We're becoming raised. We're becoming lifted. So that nothing can defeat us. Nothing can take that strength of our mind away. Otherwise, this mind starts becoming very confused, becomes very lost, and we feel lost in life. But why? Why should we feel that we're lost? There's no reason to feel lost because Guru gives us exact destination. What is destiny? We use that word destiny, we say in English. Destiny is what? Destiny is your destination. And by some great good fortune in this lifetime, your destination has come to be at the feet of the Guru. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave Guru Gadi of Sri Guru Granth Sahib and said, you shall find me there. And that every person has their own relationship at the feet of the Guru. He said, you shall find me there. That's the strength. As I talk about today, the strength of Khalsa, the strength of your commitment. You know, we say in English there's 7 steps to happiness. Everybody wants to find happiness. Is that not true? Is there one of, no, I want to be miserable my whole life? I don't think so. I think everybody wants to say, I want to be happy. And it's a birthright to be happy. It's not something I have to chase. My happiness is a birthright. It's given to me to be happy. But we say in English that there's 7 steps of that happiness. First comes with commitment. Without commitment, you'll never find happiness. Guru says, commit at the feet of the Guru. Make that commitment. That's the start of your happiness. Without commitment in life, there's nothing. That commitment that you give yourself at the feet of the Guru gives you a character. Character means it gives you something that's within you. And when you have that character within you, it gives you a dignity. I am Khalsa. That's my dignity. Through my commitment and the strength of my character, the third step of that happiness becomes dignity. Dignity means that within me that says, yes, I am Khalsa. There's no question. And that dignity gives what we call divinity. Divinity means it gives us spiritual balance. Divinity means I have my balance spiritually. Spiritually means that there's never a separation between myself and God. There's never a separation between myself and Guru. That we call divinity. And we listen to the Shabad, we come to the feet of the Guru to feel divine. To feel that within ourselves. So he said 1 was commitment, 2nd is character, 3rd is dignity, 4th is divinity. The 5th step through that gives you grace. Grace means gives you that very humble way to be. You understand it deeply within, and that brings the humbleness, humility. When I first came and I was reading and understanding the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and what Guru Nanak Dev Ji brought to this world. When I read that in Gurbani, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, if he could only become the slave to touch the dust of the slaves, of the feet of those slaves who walk the path, singing God's praises, if he could just touch the dust of those devotees, the dust of the devotees, that he would feel that he was in the presence of God. And my mindset at that time, I was a very young person when the first time I heard that, read that, and I said, my God, if someone can be that humble, that just touched the dust of the feet, that I would be satisfied. I said, how can a mind even come to that? And that's called grace of living. And when we have those 5 elements within us, commitment gives us the character, character gives us dignity, dignity gives us divinity, divinity brings us grace, then the 5th, 6th step to that happiness is the power of sacrifice. When there's that power of sacrifice, of giving yourself, of not being afraid to give your head at the feet of the Guru, that power of sacrifice to give to others, to share with others, to open your heart to others, then what is that 7th step? We call that happiness. That's how I was taught. That through all that is the commitment of Khalsa. To understand the strength of that vibration within yourself. And what carries you through is Gurbani. What carries us through is the Kirtan, is the Simran, is the sound vibration of the Shabad Guru as we sit in Sangat. And we let that flow come through us. That gives us the energy of life. That gives me the energy of life. Because as Khalsa, through that technology of a Guru that gives to us, through the power of the Shabad and the Bani and the Nod, the sound current vibration gives us unlimited strength. And we call that perpetual stamina. Perpetual means never stop. Stamina means the strength to never stop, never give up, and never stop fighting for the rights of others, never stop sharing with others and helping with others. And that's the power of Simran. We said 4 pillars today. We talked about Bana, Bani, Seva, and Simran. Simran is that. Nam Simran, Nam Japo, is the key. Guruji is giving us the keys of life. Giving us the exact foundation of living. Mul Mantra is the foundation of us. Mul means that root, does it not? Mul means that root. Can a tree stand without roots? Can a tree stand if it's not being nurtured through those roots? Can a Khalsa stand without Gurbani? Can a Khalsa stand with not Panchbaniya? Can a Khalsa stand with not Sangat? Can a Khalsa not stand through Pangat? Can a Khalsa not stand through the realization of the power and the strength that has been gifted to us to bring us to those stages of happiness? Sometimes Sangat comes to me, they say, Bhai Sabji, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed. I say, don't be depressed in life, become impressed with life. Be impressed with this life. This is the gift that Guruji has gifted to us. Whether born to it, I had to come to it at 24. I had to climb and climb and climb until the Guru said, yeah, okay, you can come back now. I said, thank you, Guruji. And then I never left. Never left the feet of the Guru in 47 coming years. Because I knew inside of myself, I said, if I don't know anything, and I'm not a very smart individual, but I say I know one thing, for some reason I was brought here, and the other thing I knew was I would never leave. Through sukh, dukh, no matter what the situation, I stand in the presence of my Guru. I say, Guru, maybe I've made 10 million mistakes I shouldn't make, but I say, Guruji, I shall never leave you. Because I know that when I myself can't make it, that Guruji promises, I shall carry you. And I said, okay, Guruji, then I shall be your son, and you can carry me even when I can't carry myself. And that's what I learned. And I had to learn it from the English side because my Punjabi's not that good. I'm speaking English today. And why, if you know me, some maybe have known me for many years, you know that I never lose that inspiration. I never lose that devotion at the feet of the Guru, because I know that is the power of life. Sadhana, aradhana, prabhupati. Hanji. Sadhana means that action you do, sadhana. To rise, to do that action. Aradhana, the experience through it. Prabhupati, God. Japa, tapa, sanjima. Japa means the recitation. The recitation of it. Vaheguru, Vaheguru, you repeat. Japa, japa, Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. That creates tapa. What is tapa? Is heat. Japa, tapa is a sequence. We read it every day. Japa means that repetition. Tapa means that heat that's created within us through the japa. To give the experience of God within us. To give the devotion at the feet of Guru, to understand that Guru carries us through thick and thin, plus and minus, sukh, dukh, every aspect of our lives. We're carried through. And I say to you guys, I say to Sangat, I say, if I can do it, this kid, born Toronto, can do it, then you should all do it 20 times, 100 times better than me. You were born to it. You were raised at it. You were brought as a child to the feet of the Guru. You were named at the feet of the Guru. You were given this gift of life as not only cultural. They say, well, it's a culture. My culture is not just a culture. To me, it's a destiny that you've been given. You're the leaders of this next world. You're the leader of future generations. The women of our Sangat will take the lead. It has to happen. We have to be prepared for the changes of this world, because there's a simple saying that if we don't change as these times change, the times are changing, we know that. We see what's happening in the world. What's most important that we change as the times change. We be alert and conscious and aware and exact and understand what is happening with all this division, because now there's a war against our minds. What's happening now is that those who want to try to keep control, which we knew at the Kali Yuga, this last vestige of time, they will try to keep their control by taking away our rights, the rights of humans to live, the rights of women to make choices, the rights of us will be taken from us. And they're doing it now by dividing our mind, by creating a doubt within us through this fake news, all this kind of stuff, media stuff that's happening, to create an imbalance in our mind so we won't stand. It's very true. It's creating a duality. What is real, what is unreal? And they want to create that duality. Guruji talks so much about duality. Duja talks about how if we live in duality, we never live total. We never live totality if we live in duality, if we live two sides. So Guru gives us exact nature to understand this is what a Gurumukh is. Manmukh lives in that doubt and fear. Gurumukh lives in the truth of the light of the heart, with love and strength and courage and devotion that shall never be taken, and we stand together as Sangat to lead this world, to help this world out of a depression and into an age where all shall be truthful. That is when we read every day, Ad Satya, Jugad Satya, Hai Be Satya, Nanak Hosi Be Satya. Hanji? Was given to us. Through the understanding of Mantra, Ekonkar Sat Nam Karta Purk Nirabo Nirvar Akal Murtajani Saiban Gurda Prasada, then came the hukam, Jap. Remember, wake up. Jap. That was the wake-up call to understand what? Ad Satya, Jagad Satya, Hai Be Satya, Nanak Hosi Be Satya. That at the beginning of time, Ad Satya, that at the beginning of time, what ruled was truth, was the vibration of the Nam in the cycle of the beginning of this entire universe. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, Ad Satya. He said, in that beginning of that primal time was the vibration of that which was living truth of all existence. It's not a small thing. Guru Nanak Dev Ji taught great, great understandings to embrace within us, more than we can truly understand. But he said that whatever created this world, okay, Rig Veda said, okay, it was Big Bang, whatever it was. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji advanced the theory of evolution. He advanced it by saying Ad Satya. He advanced the theory of that by saying that when this beginning of time, when whatever created this entire creation, this creation was created by truth, the vibration of the Nam. Like Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, vibrate the Nam, Nam Dhyaya, sing it, chant it, vibrate it in yourself. The Nam shall carry you. Jugad such that through all the ages was no different. Have be such that it exists that same today. Nanak Hosi Be Such, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, it shall live forever. That is the essence of the existence of all humanity, creation, planets, solar systems, cosmos, you name it, whatever name you give to it. This is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji brought to this world, an advanced teaching that then was through our Gurus and embodied by Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj to create Het Maryada, to create Khalsa, to create the future so that we would have the exact understanding of how to live this life, how to live physically, how to live mentally, and how to be connected spiritually to that exact existence of that Ad Satya is all created. Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj has been given as a gift so that that shall be perpetual for eternity. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji gave his life so that it would never be changed, it would never be taken. So Satsangat Ji, this is, I'm explaining how I see it, Mafkani Ji, if I'm making something wrong. But that's what inspires me, because the knowledge exists, the knowledge is there, is beyond knowledge. When I read from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and I listen to these, what the Guruji is saying, and I say, my God, that is beyond thinking. That is beyond what is being taught in schools today. That is beyond. And we have to, what Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave us was the values. We have values of Sikhi. We have values of Khalsa. We send our children to these schools. What are they being taught? They're taught the values of a Judeo-Christian belief system. They go to these schools. They're taught what? They're not taught Sikhi. They're taught that belief system and values of this old world that doesn't suit the generations. We have to give them the values of Sikhi. We have to give them the values of Khalsa. That's the values that our children have to be given. If we don't give it to them, then we depend upon these schools, these public schools, that aren't going to teach this way of life. And then maybe some will stay with us, maybe some will go, maybe some will come back, maybe some will want to do this, maybe some will want to go over there, but we lose it. But I'm very thankful, Satsangaji, that I've been with you many years, 40 plus years, and I've seen the movement of our youth growing and growing and growing, which wasn't there when I started and wasn't there for many years when I began, but is growing now for our young people, young adults, and the youth population now is growing and growing. We started teaching Sikhi in English. I started when I was about 42 years old. We spent 18 years broadcasting on television in Canada and throughout the world. It was the first time in the world that Sikhi was taught in English. Before anything came, now we have lots of, so much there now, basics of Sikhi, others that are beautiful movements, but nobody was teaching that, and that was, I taught 18 years every single week on public national television to spread the message so that others beyond just us, and not only did it inspire a generation at that time who didn't understand the Gurmukhi, didn't understand Punjabi, but educated English people, people outside of our faith, to understand the beauty, the elegance, the majesty, the mastery that Guruji has given to us. That's, to me, is the essence of our tomorrow. Satsangaji, it's a great honor and a great privilege to have the opportunity to be with you today. And if I can just be inspired by you a little bit so that I can go forward and keep this work going, that would be a great privilege. But keep anchored at the feet of the Guru. Don't ever lose that faith. You know, we spend so much time trying to keep our face, but did you keep your faith? Keeping faith is what is most important in this life. And Guru has given us a faith and a trust and a realization and an understanding. I'm very grateful tonight to have this opportunity in the presence of our Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj to be with you, to share with you. And I know that when we were here the other night, many people asked how they could contact us and get a hold of us. We do have some flyers you can pick up from us here that have my contact information. You can see us on Facebook and Instagram, and also Satsangaji. A lot of the work we're going around the world spreading this message, and your support financially as well helps us a great deal so that we can keep this moving and keep spreading Guru's message to the world. As a Khalsa, we have no geography. As Khalsa, we have no gender, there's no color. I'll just end with a short story of a young boy the other day. I was sitting in the Langar Hall with him, and he was a 12-year-old boy, and there was two girls in front of us who were looking, young girls, and they were looking at me, and I said to him, I said, they must be looking at me because I'm Gora, white. He said, no, you're not Gora. I said, I'm not? I look. He said, you're Khalsa. And you know, Satsangaji, he was so right. I was seeing myself, but this 12-year-old, that is our children's, they have so much sensitivity, so much beyond ourselves. And he said, no, you're not Gora, you are Khalsa. So we learn from everybody. Satsangaji, thank you so much for the opportunity. Please, you can see me, we'll be here for a little bit before we leave. And I'd love to meet you all. So let us continue our program. I'm grateful to the Gurdwara side for the opportunity. Let us pray for peace. Let that ardas be, that peace prevail upon this world, that the Khalsa Raj shall rise and help heal this world, and that humanity shall come to peace. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.